It comes from China.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. But they fought with expert timing. There were funky Chinamen from
Made by the Chinese Communist Party workers as a cheap and effective capitalism removal tool. But in 2025, those Chinese AKs are everything but cheap, and they are hated by jihadis.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful! How terrible! Oh no!
Before we'll talk about what happened, we have to address elephant in the room and talk about the controversy surrounding the Chinese AK's quality. See, even jihadis hate them.
Первый вопрос, какое оружие ты предпочитаешь для операций и для рейдов? Советские и российские автоматы Калашникова и еще немецкие, они очень хорошо показали себя в бою, никогда не подводят практически. Но есть и китайские, катарские, там другие версии, другие страны, где производят, показали себя очень плохо и даже бесплатно не стали бы с ним пользоваться.
I have decided to reach out to the Malhala Tactical and see maybe he has changed his mind about those beautiful rifles. Okay guys, yep, looking for a Malhala Tactical, it's Rapsky. Ooh, that's awful. Did he at least die painlessly? Ooh. To the shreds, you say? How about his wife? Ooh, to the shreds, you say? Not good, not good. Guys, if you want to support the channel, please shop at the AKOU store, ak4774.com. This store keeps the channel going. So unfortunately, Malhala Tactical has left this world. It is what it is. But now going back to the newer production of the Chinese AKs. Yes, I have heard from numerous AKOU members in Africa and Europe that the quality of these newly made AKs is rather troubling, and the feedback I was receiving is that they are not that good. So this makes me to think that when Chinese were producing these in the 80s and the early 90s for the US market, actually the quality control had to be better, because we know from our US market that these are holding up rather well. So how we end up with Chinese AKs in the United States? See, China was making a killing selling those AKs to all the freedom fighters fighting the US troops all over the world. Unfortunately, after the fall of Saigon, business started shrinking. The wars were not as good as they used to be. Yes, there was some stuff happening in Africa. Yes, the Afghanistan slowly was brewing with the Soviet invasion, but it was nothing like good old days in the 50s and 60s. You have to understand that China in the 80s did not have much to export like today. In the 80s, basically, they were exporting t-shirts, textiles, and some agriculture. But they figured out, if we cannot sell the weapons to fight against Americans, how about if we sell those rifles to the Americans? Plan worked out actually very, very well. Chinese started exporting rifles around mid-80s to United States, and they started with the very low goals. At the beginning, they were selling only 4,000 rifles. But by the end of the 80s, that 4,000 rifles exploded to the whooping 40,000 rifles per year. Now you may think the success is a good thing. Unfortunately, in that case, not necessarily. Actually, it turned out that those constantly rising sales of the Chinese rifles brought the unwanted attention from the US weapons manufacturers. And they allegedly started lobbying US government to do something about it. And what do you know? It turns out if you're bitching and moaning a lot, actually the administration will listen if you will grease the skids a little bit. Allegedly, in 1989, the Bush administration banned the foreign rifles imports. This was the first nail in the coffin of the importing Chinese AKs. After Bush Sr. nuked the imports of those beautiful rifles, manufacturers actually adopted. So they started making them to look more like sport ones, and the sales continued to happen in the United States. Of course, they were basically stripped from some cool features, no more threaded barrels, you know the whole deal. Then in 1994, another US president, this time Democrat, Bill Clinton, completely killed the exports from China on weapons and ammo. That was done based on accusations from ATF that the Chinese manufacturers were shipping to United States basically a full auto AKs. Now, taking into the account the history and what the ATF was doing over the years, I would say that this was a very questionable statement. But as always, people act on emotions, and the Clintons' ban was absolutely the last nail in the coffin for the Chinese AKs. And this is the reason why the Chinese AKs are so expensive today in the United States. Unfortunately, in some cases, you have to pay way over $5,000 for those beautiful rifles. They are highly, highly collectible at this point. So, if you're thinking about buying one, I would say yes, start looking, scan the auctions, go to the gun shows. They are still being sold at the gun shows, often with the original boxes and things like this. And if you will find a good deal, I would not hesitate, because unfortunately when you limit something, and by putting the bans on the exports, that's basically a limitation, right? All we got left in the country is, this is it, pretty much no more coming. So over and over again we have seen that the prices just keep climbing up, and I have never seen actually those dropping dramatically down. They usually only go up. But what do you think, guys? What do you think about the Chinese AKs? What is your opinion about them? Leave me the comments underneath of the video, and as always, thank you for watching and see you soon.